Okay, so the guy I'm going to talk about is this guy named Duke, and this area of the screen right here is a screen snapshot of a live chat room that I use to support my clients. So in this area of consulting, my clients are all uh, traders who are working on trying to make a living, managing money or living on their trading, whether it's stocks or exchange traded funds or currencies or commodities. About 3/4 of my clients are established professionals in different professions who have been successful and are maybe in their 50s or 60s and are looking to transition away from their profession and um, to add some income by trading their own money, or they're simply looking to uh, trade on the side, not as a full-time profession, but to trade their own money in order to get in order to improve their results. Let's say compared to just having a financial advisor or a buy and hold or something like that. So, in some way, most of my clients are in that category of already professional who are looking to add a new set of skills and knowledge in order to trade money. And so Duke is an example of that. He works full time as an engineer. He's in his middle 40s actually, and he has created some time during the day in the first couple hours of the morning session. He has the ability to come in early and trade before his work actually starts because he's on the West Coast, and so the market opens at 9:30 Eastern Standard, so he can come in and then like at 6:30 to 8:30 his time. He's able to trade for a couple hours in the morning. So he's established um, a way in which that he can honorably and practically trade the markets before he goes to work, and then he can check in at lunchtime and monitor some trades, and then he can do all his work to prepare after work is over and after the market is closed, and he can prepare his trading plan for the next day. So if we were to map out his time availability, um, the market is open, from 9:30 to let's see, 4:30 daily. And what he's able to do is in the first couple hours of the morning, he can trade this period. He can do a short, like a 45-minute or 1 hour session around his lunchtime. And then after the market is closed and after his job, he can do the prep work either in the evening, and then he can also do some prep work even earlier in the morning because he's a morning person. And then and then in the remaining time he's doing his regular business type professional activity. And so he came to a workshop that I teach, and in that workshop, it's about a 3-day, time-intensive um, skills experience where it comes in like on a, late Thursday night, and then we spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday together, 8 to 12 hours, and lock in some skills and new knowledge. And then prior to that, there's a whole series of what I found was necessary was a series of prep sessions where I give them material to read and review, like videos and papers and case studies. And then for the 3 weeks prior to that workshop, I have a weekend question and answer session where they're able to study this material, and then post questions into a bulletin board, and then I have a 1 to 2 hour question and answer session like on a Saturday that I record. And then they can ask some more questions during the week. Then I answer a second round of questions, and then a third round of questions. And then they come to the workshop, and then we work through slides and in person, and a lot of this stuff from the question and answers rolls over, and we get a deeper maybe understanding at the workshop. Then after, I do 3 sessions for them as well. And what's easy for me to do on that is what I found is that for the rest of my clients, that since I was doing these question and answer sessions on our materials on the weekend anyway and recording them, what I now do is these guys that come to the workshops, I just bring them right into that same structure. So what I have is a chat room that is live, like 24/7, and that chat room is this experience here, and it identifies who's talking and the time of day, and they can upload files, and there are screenshots of image files, and then there's text. And then this actually, this software is called the Campfire. It's like sitting around a campfire telling stories. This turns out to be searchable. So if I wanted to say something about, if somebody was interested in the key phrase applied practice, they could go into a little search box, and then it would go back through the archives and find all the examples of that and give a little summary lookup table. So sometimes when we're talking about different kinds of systems, whether it's currencies or day trading or whatever, this environment here is like a living, growing document of our applied practice. And so we'll talk about trading. In this case, he's going to talk about this trade that he did and his insights, and then I'm going to talk about how he did in the chat room to give him immediate feedback. And then anybody that comes to that chat room later on can review that entire narrative, and then if they want to, they can go search through about 10 years of documented history and pull together every reference to a system or a stock symbol or a concept. And so it becomes a very rich, collaborative, documented environment. So what I do is that the folks that are coming into this workshop experience, I give them access to that chat room so they can actually take this material that I give them and the question and answer sessions, the prep material and the workshop material, and they come in and they can start practicing on it in the chat room. And then other people that I've trained that are in there also are happy to explain things to them, because they realize that by giving explanations, they're testing their own knowledge, and then if they need feedback, I can correct their ideas. So it becomes a very collaborative working environment, and it helps the traders deal with the isolation of trading from home, which can be a very isolating experience. It's lonely. When you're alone, it kind of magnifies all your own emotions, and that is very dangerous for traders. So this collaborative learning environment also provides some human support and some emotional support in what's a very challenging profession. At the same time, we get to leverage each other's ideas, and so they have these little work groups that they've sort of developed to help each other learn the material and then support each other, and then they just self-organize based on interests, and it's turned out to be a pretty productive environment. So all of this sort of blends consulting with education, with operations, with research, and has a very nice little synergy all about it. And we think of it as a community of practice. Right? So, uh, so now let me get back to Duke. So Duke's deal was that and these are relatively new clients. So he really made an effort to master the material and was active in the prep work, and was not shy in the workshop about asking his questions, and was a very quick learner, and was active in the post-workshop exercises and got involved in the chat room right away. And so in a matter of weeks, literally, this guy was trading very, very professionally. One of the things that he was having trouble with in the area before he came to study with me or work with me was that he was having trouble with a need to be perfect. That if he had an idea about the market and for whatever reason he was not able to take an entry, it would really create emotional distress for him. And then his lack of harmony made it very difficult to control his emotions or to manage his emotions, and that was negatively affecting his trading. So some of the things that I've been working on with him are how to learn to let go of those emotions, how to operate in a state of harmony where you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be yourself. And so here was an example of a trade that he posted. He came in, he had some work to do and came in a little bit late, like he came in at this part of his session, so he missed the first section. And this is what he posted. He posted this file, and he said, hey, I missed 2 ideal entries on symbol AXP. Now that's symbol American Express, which you can see right here. That's a U.S. bank, financial institution. It's a member of the Dow Jones 30 Industrials. So it's one of the largest companies in the world. You can see a chart, the expanded chart here called American Express. And so he recognized that he missed 2 entries, and but he was able to just recognize that and accept that, and didn't lose his emotional stability. And so he decided to take a small position and then play for a certain price target, and when that hit, he held on for the next level, and he identified the 2 entries that he missed. So this, where I just drew that line, all this is day -1, or this was yesterday's trading activity, which was in this region of price. So and then the market closed, and then it's closed for 16 hours and then opens. And then as soon as it opened, this was actually from this morning, it opened here and price started traveling down. It would really be in this, it's hard to see, but it would be in this orange band. This was an area where this purple dot, he missed an entry, and he missed a second entry, and this red dot is where he actually made his entry. And these yellow lines represent technical price levels that we use, that when the market opens here, we perform statistics on price action, and we say that a movement from the open this far would not be unusual. It would not be unusual behavior for symbol AXP. That's like a move of 2.5% or over 2% of negative price action. So if it was trading at $100, that means a price of 98 or a $2 loss would not be unusual intraday behavior. So if we can be in the market in the morning, we see price moving in a certain direction. When it's moved a certain direction, this becomes an ideal entry point, because this looks like a signal for a directional move down. The second dot, red dot, is a pattern that we call a P1 failure. I won't get into the technical pieces, but we have some pattern analysis that says if price behaves in a certain way, that this price level would be an excellent entry. Now, when he came into the market, he saw both of those, and he knew he had to take them. 3 months ago, the fact that he would have missed his 2 ideal entries would have really disturbed his emotional harmony. And he would not have been able to take this trade because he would have been angry with himself and may have traded poorly. Well, when it went through this, when it went through this yellow line, he knew he was in good shape, and price continued down to this next yellow line in a very orderly fashion. And he was able to cash a win. Now, it turns out that to be able to win that much money, now he's on the short side, meaning that he sells first and then buys it back later. It's sort of the opposite of buy low, sell high. It's sell high and then buy low. So that's a technical form of trading so that you can make money even when the stock is going down. So it turns out that a positive price capture, he's able to actually make this much of a profit between the yellow line to the second yellow line to the third yellow line. This area of profit becomes his positive gains for that day. And based on some money analysis, if he's able to capture that much of a move in a symbol that day, he can achieve all his daily financial goals for that trading system. And he's able to do, these are on minute charts. This actually represented about 20 minutes of time in the trade. So it's like, I'm going to put some round numbers on there. So that'd be like at 9:45, he's able to sell it for 100 and then buy it back at 98 and make $2 in 20 minutes. And that 2% gain is enough for him to make his daily financial goals. So this is what he did. He basically had done all his prep work after hours. He was ready in the morning. When he came into the market in this target signal for him, he just recognized what was going on. He had missed 2 entries. There was still room for him to get this third entry, so he just did. It moved the way he's supposed to. He cashed the win for his daily required objective, and then he just said, hey, I'm going back to work. Catch you guys later. So now he leaves this, and now he goes back into work, and he has the confidence of positive gains for that morning, of achieving his goal. And he posted his case study into the chat room for other people to review and for me to comment on. And I actually had him do some work about the prep work that he does and record a video for others because I thought his process was very good at demonstrating how to apply the techniques that I teach. So I just gave him some feedback and said, hey, the video you sent me last night was perfect, and that he's making great progress by showing how to apply my material from this work here, how to apply my material and become a self-sufficient trader. He did all this prep work himself, came in, composed himself, read the situation, made his trade, got paid, went back to work, posted his results for others to see, and then exited. So I was able to comment inside the chat room. And then what I did was, because I wanted to make this a trading lesson I want other people to do what Duke is doing. And so I added this commentary in yellow in the chat room. Then I also put together this little slide where I expanded the view of his case study trade so that I could make comments on it a little bit easier for people to see. And then I added this text commentary where I said, hey, Duke observed the situation, he acknowledged the missed entries, recognized the potential reward was still in the trade, put together a quick trade frame, executed it, met his daily goal, and then head back to work just like he plans as part. This is where he's trading inside of his larger professional experience, so he's been able to integrate all of these new skills comfortably inside his professional practice and in a sustainable way, and he's making money doing it. So we have every reason to believe that he's well started in adding a new set of professional practices that before he wasn't able to do. And so this is the power of coaching. And then I make the point that he was able to accomplish his daily mission with low stress, that he demonstrated proper psychology in that he was able to let go of the fact that he missed those other two entries for whatever reason, and it did not affect his psychology, and he was able to simply perform his trading plan. And then it was to reinforce this idea. Remember, the stock market doesn't remember the opportunities it gave you that you didn't take. So you don't, and it will always keep giving you new opportunities. So life is like that too, lots of opportunities. And now what I will do is put together this particular video, and I may end up even using some of this discussion later because I like the way this explanation worked. And I will make that available to folks as a study guide, as a case study in how a person can actually apply this material, and then what that looks like in practice, and then how to use the combination of campfire and these different trading tools to do our thing, and then how they can become successful like Duke by simply applying his technique, which was to work in the material, to participate in the prep work, to be a good student in the workshop, and then to apply it in the learning laboratory later, and to become active in the chat room. That's the path to success. It's sort of like going. That's how you learn judo. You go to the dojo and throw people around and get thrown around. You go into the wood shop and you start making projects out of the tools, simple, small ones at first, being careful with the tools, and then documenting your progress and participating in the community of practice. So this, I think, is a case study in individual psychology and leadership and self-awareness and diagnosis and learning how to grow as a person, and how to. It's also a case study for us, I believe, how to be an effective coach and to respect the fact that people have their own goals and objectives, and they're the ones that have to do the work, and that your job as a process consultant is to be able to create an environment in which they can conduct low-risk skills development, and that you can give them positive support, but you don't do the work for them. Like, I don't tell him how exactly to do it. He has to discover what fits and what works for him, and then I become a resource person for him and help him with the documentation. And so I talked very early in this course about that 4-column learning journal, and that becomes the technology or the method that I coach him into using so that he can learn to lock in all these different ideas. And he's been doing that, and it turns out to be a really helpful technique. So